Okay,
Yes.
guys, we are back with another video, and this Charan is changing the layout, and it's driving me nuts.
Wait, I'm trying to focus. Like, we are new to this, okay? Just bear with
Come
us.
on, we have 350 views now. We are
My God,
pros.
the fame is getting to us.
Yeah. Today, actually, I went to Keels, and somebody asked for my photograph. Not
Uh,
photograph, autograph.
why?
No,
Gather liyaga na?
that was the cashier. She was asking me if I had an excess account.
Makes sense. Makes sense. So why don't we start by telling how was your day? Like, how was your day? So,
It's like always, it's shit. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not kidding. It's shit.
it's mildly shitty.
Mildly shitty, but it's fun though.
Yeah, that's what matters. All right. So what are we talking about today?
That sounds depressing, but yeah. So in the previous video, so I urge
Previously
you guys
on.
previously on. So we are gonna do that. So I urge you guys to go watch our first video. It's about we are comparing code editors, Cursor and Windsurf. So basically, we are using AI to write a CRM, and I know you guys must feel what the hell is gonna happen. Is AI gonna take over? Chat, are we cooked? We have the same questions, but in this video, we are going to talk more about it. We're going to dive a little bit deeper. Hopefully, not too deep. But yeah, Chara.
Yeah. So AI and the future of software engineering. Uh,
Yeah.
well, basically, you're cooked. Just start a podcast. That's the best way to earn. And then,
Guys, that's the only reason that we started doing this, because
yeah,
we know that we are gonna get cooked
yeah,
in the
we
near
realized it.
future, at least in a couple of years. So we're like, better get a head start.
Just start. Let's just address sort of the elephant in the room.
Did
Um,
you just call me
so,
fat?
I honestly want to do that, so I didn't do it. Wait, focusing on, coming back, coming
Yeah,
back. It's like what
yeah,
3 minutes of us just talking shit.
yeah,
So
yeah.
if we look at the current landscape, we have bunch of fucking AI tools, right? We have AI platforms that are independent platforms that are working as AI providers, and then we have inference platforms who are taking those platforms and building on top to make it even more faster. And then we have products that are built on top of those providers, and then we have companies who are building other models. Like recently, DeepSeek came into play. That is a Chinese-backed company, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So all of these tools coming out, and very recently GPT 4.1 came out, and GPT 4.1 is amazing on code, and even Claude Code is good, but Claude Code is quite expensive. The first thing that we would think, of course, like it looks like we are on a tangent of, where building a software can be automated, can be built using an AI, right? Because we get
Yeah.
that feeling when we use the platforms, right?
Yeah.
But is that the case? That's the golden question that we're gonna
Yeah.
maybe answer, maybe not, maybe it'll be sort of an answer. We don't know. Let's see.
Yeah.
Let's go through the
And
scene and see.
all in all those tools, at least like 80% of those tools are chat GPT wrappers, guys. So just
Yeah, exactly. That's the fun part, right?
yeah,
It's just like, but like 5, 6 companies who's dominating the AI providers game, right?
yeah,
And then everyone's just building wrappers out of it. So the current AI landscape and how do we use it, right? So we'll start there. We'll start how we use it, and then basically we'll go from there. So Pasan, why don't you give us like a small brief on how do you use AI?
yeah. So if you guys seen our previous video, you guys might know that I'm like a Charon label me as a AI hater, but I'm not. I'm just a bit skeptical about when it comes to AI and using AI. But I do use it on a day-to-day basis. But it's not mostly for writing code. It's for mostly for maintaining documentation, because I hate doing documentation. I think at least some of you will agree on that. At least developers. because maintaining documentation, it's not our strong suit, right? So that, and also when it comes to converting, so we have this the current place that I'm working at. So we have product which is running on Angular, but for the template part, it uses Jade. Jade is a really old templating engine. I use AI to convert those existing Jade templates to HTML, which is a very repetitive task, but AI handles it really well. I don't really need to go into that and do everything one by one. So I mostly use it for like very repetitive tasks and tedious tasks. But for when it comes to coding, I use it, but it's a hit or miss. Mostly, I just discard everything and write it from the scratch by myself. So that's usually how it goes, because I don't know. I feel like I'm smarter than AI. I don't know. I'm just kidding. But yeah, at least I understand our product better than the better than Windsurf, or at least Cursor. So yeah. And Char, what about you?
Right. So I can't speak for the developers, but I love documentation. But
Who are we kidding? Come on now.
bro, I love document. You know that I document every fucking thing. I do this, right? I have a problem where I'm a bit OCD like that, right? But yes, to what you said, uh, I also use AI a lot to do documentation, even though that I like to write it, because it's basically, yeah. Before I get there, I'll just tell how I use it. Yeah, so I use it in a way where I use it for documentation. I use it for coding. I sometimes use it to do Google search. I just take Gemini,
What?
and then I just select the web search option. And instead of going through multiple Google search, I just ask
Like,
Gemini to just do it for me, and then it does it. And uh, and then
I'm
there's
so
this tool,
disappointed, but just go ahead.
bro. You need to learn how to utilize the tools, right? So
No, I'm just gonna keep using Google search like a normal person.
right? So this is what Hasan does. He uses AI day to day and hates it day to day as well.
Yes.
And, yeah, so getting back. So I use it to document. I use it for my coding work. So let's start with documentation. It's quite easy, like writing JS docs to writing even like documentation. Sometimes I don't write tickets with AI because tickets, of course, it needs to be very precise and concise, and it needs to be
Yeah.
very minimal, right? Then when you use AI to write a ticket, no one's gonna read it. I mean, sometimes humans intentionally ignore what AI is written,
Yeah.
and unintentionally or intentionally, and that happens. Yeah. So that and then if we come to coding, I use it very thoroughly, and well, I have to agree with person for a certain extent where there have been multiple times where I have to write the code. Like I don't completely remove it, but I do remove some parts and I write the code. And instances like today, I did not use AI at all to code because I was doing
And
bug
he's
fixes and
having
patches.
withdrawal issues.
I mean,
Before we started the video, he was like, "Guys, Majang, I'm shaking, Majang. I didn't even say it today."
I'm tweaking like crazy, guys. But in a sense, yes, also, I guess. I was a bit worried today because I didn't use AI, of course, to do any of my coding work, but I did use for other stuff. And I, anyway, got all the things done. But it's just the fact that for me, I don't see much difference of using AI and without using for small work. But for big work, I see the difference. And when it comes to doing research, I use Gemini Deep Research, and I basically give the research topic and the criteria that I need, and then there's a success criteria that you need to set as well. So you set that, and then you just run the research, and it takes about a good 5-6 minutes, and it goes through about more than 100 web pages and collects information and gives you something. And of course, you got to do your own research as well. But I do this, and then what I do is I go check these reference web pages. So basically, use it as a tool mainly. And yeah, that's basically my experience with the AI tools.
Yeah. But me, I just like to cut the middleman. No AI. I just go straight and do the research myself.
So if you were to ask the question, right, who will have a job in the future and who will not have the job.
Ah, that's a question. I don't want to know the answer to that question.
Pasan just answered, but we'll get that towards the end. Let's try to understand the the evolution side of this, right? So you need to understand something. When I say you, not you, Pasan, the audience,
Thanks.
is that is
The
that
huge audience that you have.
oh my God, we're so famous. The I can get distracted. Uh, Hold on, I'm gonna collect my thoughts. All right. So the idea here is that we need to figure out how the humans like. So we are discussing on specific type of humans here, which is software engineers, software developers, anyone in the software industry, right? How can they evolve? So the first thing that is going to evolve is the skill, right? We have because what we have is a skill. So how is the skill evolution going to happen, right? So on that, what skills are irreplaceable for a software engineer? Because that's the question we are supposed to ask. We are not supposed to ask, are they going to replace us? What are going to replace us? Why don't we ask what is irreplaceable of these skill, the certain individual who has the skill set, which is engineers, software developers, right? So on my head, it's mainly critical thinking and the ability to understand and overcome any problems, and the ability to read and understand code bases regardless how it's written, right?
Yes,
So
exactly.
these kind of stuff is irreplaceable, right? You can't like basically replace the fact that you have years worth of experience and you can predict the future that this is going to happen, right? The AI can go so far on doing that. The AI currently works as a tool. Why it works as a tool is because yes, it can predict, but it
Yeah,
cannot predict like you,
yeah,
not yet at least. So that's my idea of there are skills you need to ask yourself, what skills do I have that cannot be replaced, right?
yeah.
So Pasam, why don't you give it like a small insight on that?
Yeah, and when it comes to irreplaceable skills, I would say the main thing is like understanding project managers. So that's a. I'm not trying to shit on here, guys. I'm just like. So that's one of the main things, right? Because sometimes it's. Come on, you gotta stop laughing now. Come on now. Because when it comes to understanding project managers as stakeholders, it's a huge thing, right? Because even right now, I'm having a hard time sometimes understanding certain tasks and like requirements. So
Tread
yeah,
carefully.
yeah. No, that's a. But here's the thing, like that's an actual thing, right? Like,
Yeah,
okay,
I agree.
can you tell me like like all the tickets that you have worked on? It might be thousands at this point. Can you understand like have you ever understood everything that you read? Like it's you can't, right? Because sometimes it's not just project managers. I'm not trying to shit on project managers here. So I'm just saying like some people they write tickets like they don't know how exactly the technology works. But I mean they don't need to understand how the technology works, but sometimes the descriptions are like, why can't you just build the search like how Google does it? Like I'm like, come on, like if I knew how to do that, I would work at Google. I wouldn't be working here. So, so
No, I mean
yeah,
I agree,
yeah,
100%. Like yes, understanding
yeah,
requirements, right?
yeah.
Understanding other humans,
Yeah,
and
so
yeah,
it not just the requirement, right? It's the requirement with context, with the project that you're working on, because it's you can write similar tickets for every project that's out there, but you need to have context, right? So that's the most important part. And when it comes to making design decisions and having control of your code deployment, do you really want to give AI control over your code deployment and maybe managing AWS infrastructure, which is going to be really expensive if you want to build a scalable system? Like those kind of things, I think are irreplaceable. I think you can't always depend on AI to do those kind of work. So yeah, I think
no, I agree.
yeah,
I 100% agree because imagine you've been working in a place for. I actually experienced this today. Imagine you're working in a place for like 4 years or 2, 3 years. Um, at a stretch. And then there are things that comes from history, right? Okay, why did we change this? Because 3 years ago we decided to do this. Some people remember, some people don't, and mistakes happen. But those kind of stuff, can be catched. But then again, if there is a fully automated tool that builds all software, it'll already have the context from start. That is also given, but still there's a factor when you deal with a human. So that human-to-human interaction is still gonna be tricky. So that I agree 100% with you. Like you can't replace that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
But can you
Okay,
replace project managers?
I don't know. That's okay. To be honest, guys, I'm not cheating on project managers. I'm just trying, guys. I don't want to lose my job because of these videos.
I mean, I worked with really good project managers, and I worked with
I have as well. I right now I have a good project manager, but I have had a little bit shaky project managers as
yeah.
well.
No,
So
same. Yeah, I've also had the same. Like that has happened. Like at the same time, we might have also been on the other end where they or them or whatever they felt that uh, the we were also not up to that. We were also like, I know that I was shitty at one point where I had a downtime. So of course it goes both ways. Um, but a little bit more on project managers. Yeah, discuss that later. So
we'll
what
probably
are
cut
the
that part, but
no, I'm gonna keep that shit.
yeah.
What are the okay? So reeling back you in, what are the new skills that we are supposed to learn? Right? What are these new stuff that engineers, software developers? I mean, this does not get like I can't find my words. This is not only restricted to developers or engineers. This can even branch out to other industries, other careers as well, which is where, like prompt engineering is one. Prompt engineering is super important. Like you need to understand how to prompt, and then, I mean, basically giving the correct context, guiding it, and telling it how to do it, and all those stuff. That's one thing. And then you get into like tool evaluations, like understanding how to evaluate the agent you built or the tool you built, how to evaluate it, because you need to understand and monitor these things. That's a skill that you need, basically understanding and monitoring. And then not replacing your thought process or thinking pattern, but aiding and helping. That is what you're supposed to do with these assistant AI tools, right? Not completely just offload it and you fuck off and you start
That's
watching
a
TikTok.
yeah.
You can't do
That's a,
that.
that's actually a good point. So let me take over. Yeah. No, I'm just kidding. So yeah, that's actually a really really good point because imagine you offload, as Charna said, you offload all your like heavy thinking to an LLM, and you just watch TikTok or play games or whatever, right? But that's gonna get you in trouble. I'm telling you because imagine this is like so I'll just share with you. I'll just quickly go with an example. So imagine you are driving your car. It's a manual gear car. Okay. So you are driving that shit. Okay. You are shifting the gears. You have perfect clutch balance. So you know how to do everything. Now imagine you buy a new car, which is auto gears. Okay. It's a Swift, a white color Swift, Suzuki Swift. So imagine that. So now we are driving that for like 2 years, 3 years, maybe. Then you decide to go back to a manual car. But the thing is, you can't drive a manual car like you used to because you are you have gotten so used to driving auto gear cars because you can't really clutch balance like you used to, and you can't shift the gears properly like you used to because it takes time to get familiar with it, right? So I think it's somewhat of the like it's the same case as offloading all the heavy thinking to an LLM because you will be bit out of touch with the thinking part, like the critical thinking part, and like the actual coding where your mind just like goes into sleep whenever there's a heavy task at hand. So yeah, I don't know if I was being clear, but that's what I can think of. So
No, I mean, I got it. Like I understand, because of course if you don't learn the fundamentals and the foundation of something, then you just start using it from the middle, And then later on, if there was or ever a need in order for you to maybe just survive based off of the fundamental or the foundation skills, you can't, because you're kind of cooked, right? You don't know. So it
Yeah,
just makes
definitely. And
sense.
you like, it's like keeping your knife sharp, right? Like you have to always work on your craft, and like or else you will lose your edge. So yeah, that's you definitely need to do that. So that's one of the main reasons why I don't use AI, because whenever I use AI to do certain things, I always feel like, damn, am I gonna lose this skill? When it comes to documentation, I don't really think like that. But when it comes to coding, like actual coding and designing certain project structures or architecture level things, I definitely wanna, like, I really don't like having an LLM do it, because I wanna keep my mind sharp and up to date with all the latest tech and everything. Because once you go to, like, when you Google search something and like do a little bit of research, that stays with you, because it's a very tedious process. Like you have to know how to properly Google stuff, right? That's what makes software engineers very special. Like, we know how to Google really well, and we know, like, okay, which article should we read, like which answers are going to work. But when it comes to looking at a prompt or a result of a prompt, it's not going to hit the same, right? It's
Yeah, I mean, I mean, I 100% agreed on that as well. Uh, you have to have a certain level of how do I put this? There's this fun example that I can take. In Singapore, there's this app that you can quickly hire a handyman to even change your light bulb. And recently, there was this article that was put out by someone. I read it while I was in the toilet. So that's where
Stop lying. You were letting LLM do your work, and you were reading these articles. So
probably.
yeah,
But so something that I read was that Singapore, there's like a high demand for people like handymen, like basically you can say handywoman also, of course, but just
handy
using
them.
the anything. But I'm
Yeah.
just using that term. And
It's
so
fun watching Charan trying to be politically correct, but yeah.
so uh, so so fucking hell. There's a high increase, the high demand for this skill, right? So changing a bulb, or imagine like doing something quite easy inside the house, like even setting up your own CCTV inside the house, something that we know how to do, right? But in Singapore, there's a high demand for that because people have lost that reliability skill, right? Given that it was slowly like outsourced to a different, I don't know, set of people or set of process that the people never did, like a proper generation never did those things. Those were done for them, and then when they want to do it they can't, so they get another person. Because when you bring up a service where you can outsource it, basically convenience is king, right? And when
Yeah.
that happens, when you try to keep using the convenience methods, and then if you have to go back you can't, because then you kind of get stuck, right?
Yeah.
So like in a way, like, do you know how to like start a fire without a matchbox or a lighter?
I
I
don't.
fucking don't.
Yeah.
And you don't need to, but you can buy
Yeah.
matchboxes and lighters from anywhere. But that's not the case with AI right now. AI is not highly available like a matchbox or a lighter. So you still need to learn how to do it with the stick and the stones and shit,
Yeah.
right? So, I mean, I've taken too many metaphors and stuff, but you guys get the
Yeah.
idea. So,
I feel like by now we have lost all our viewers, but
they're like, the fuck are
two
these guys
shitty
talking about?
examples.
Trying to justify two
Yeah.
examples. So, all right, let's get to the good stuff. Entry level SC jobs.
Yeah.
What do
So
you
that's a very tricky part, right? And because I see on
entry?
Twitter.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I need to rephrase the question. Entry level is traditional SC job. When I say traditional, something that was before AI.
Hmm. It's a very tricky question, because even before this AI wave, everybody started getting into tech, right? Mostly software
Yeah,
engineering or computer science, because at least in Asia or Southeast Asia, that's the only profession where you can actually make a lot of money, without being a doctor or a lawyer. That's like one of the professions where you can actually make some money. So a lot of people started getting into that, and because of that, there's more supply than demand. So basically, when you have a job opening in LinkedIn or in a job board, thousands of people apply to that same freaking job. It's like, even for hiring managers, that's a very that's a tough job, right? Like going through like 500 600 applicants for an internship. The job market has become very competitive, and with all the layoffs that has happened as well. So now you have AI coming into the job market as well. So you might think, are you cooked? But but it's I mean, the traditional job, as Chara mentioned, I guess it's it depends on the I think it depends on the employer as well, right? Because now most employers thinks, do we really need a do we really need a entry level engineer, or should we just get a senior engineer and give them access to a tool like Cursor or Windsurf or like AI code editor? Is that enough? In some cases, maybe, but maybe not. It's a really hard question to answer. But I think as long as you are working on your craft and like actually trying to learn the fundamentals, you will be good to go, because that's what matters. That, like, when it comes to entry level interviews, mostly people ask. I mean, even when I got hired, when I started the entry level job, like they asked about like sorting algorithm, like heap sort, bubble sort. I mean, to this day, I haven't used any of those sorting methods or data structures in real world applications. But as long as you know the fundamentals, like you then somehow understands how certain like frameworks work or how data architectures work. So yeah, Sharon, what do you think?
No, I mean, I think you answered it perfectly. Um, just to give my 2 cents, I'm not going to take too much time, but entry level jobs, if you don't learn at least a lick of AI, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be difficult. Trust me, because I'm in a company who is sort of AI first on their mind. So we keep hiring AI related interns, and they're quite good. I mean, I have to say, like almost all the interns that we have, they're quite good. They're coming from a AI background. They've learned how to build AI models and on Python and all these things, and which is fairly advanced. And given that the information right now is highly available and you can grasp information with a short amount of time using AI or these TikToks and shit. So you can basically learn fast is what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
Why, if are you learning the correct thing or are you learning enough is a question that you might have to ask yourself. But entry level jobs, you have to have some sort of an AI knowledge, because without that it's hard, because it's same as understanding how to use a IDE, because before IDEs there were the text editors, right? Well,
Notepad plus plus.
yeah, I mean, those things, of course, came bit later, but even before that, we had, these like Linux, Unix-based systems where you write code on Vim and stuff. So all CLI level, moving into Notepad editors, and then moving into IDs and all this stuff, and then we are moving into AI now. So you need to learn, at least have a knowledge of how this thing works, right? And for senior roles, like much more senior roles, it's about how they incorporate AI into their day-to-day work, right? And how they utilize the use. So you are as good as your tool, the tool that you use, right? The tool is not better than you, or the tool is not good. It's how you use it. If you don't use it well, then no tool can help you. So for senior roles, I think that's the case. And there's these AI engineering roles, which I sort of kind of stepped into. Now I'm moving into AI product engineering, and I'm doing some other work. But uh, these new jobs are also in the market. And yeah, I mean, this is what the future looks like. Because recently there was a Swedish company. They have a bunch of, so they're a SaaS company, and they have other. SaaS tools and other like B2B tools that they use. They have apparently built all of those tools internally under 6 months, and they have cut down cost of like I think that was about 1 point something million.
Yeah.
So they cut down a huge amount of cost by building those tools internally and maintaining them internally with fewer developers because you
I
don't
think
need.
I think I saw that article or video as well. Like I think
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly, right? So like 10, what you can do with 10, you can do with 2 now, right?
Yeah.
So sort of how the world is going, and that's how it's going to go. And it's going to keep increasing. So you need to keep up with that thing. And just it's about balancing that wave, making sure that you're riding the wave, right? Without tipping off. You need to manage it nicely.
But
It
I
does not mean, yeah, sorry, I was
yeah
rambling
no.
too much.
So just a quick point. Like, but from my point of view, I somehow don't think senior roles will have a huge impact because
Hmm.
correct they will need to adapt to using AI and like LLMs. Like they need to lean on those as well. But I would much rather have a senior engineer in the driving seat rather than an LLM, right?
Yeah,
So
100%. Driving
yeah,
seat, yes,
yes.
agreed.
So when it comes to making actual like design decisions, design I don't mean UI, but like architectural level decisions, we need to have senior engineers. So how do you become a senior engineer? You first have to start somewhere, right? That's an entry level job. So I don't think those entry level jobs are gonna go anywhere. But you need to, as Tara mentioned, you need to learn how to use AI tools, but you cannot rely on them heavily. You just need to know how to use it. But then you will gradually be a senior engineer once you have enough experience, once you have worked on enough things. So that's how it's gonna go. I mean, don't really like the job market is not gonna like totally not gonna go belly up just because of AI.
Yeah.
So
I
yeah.
mean, maybe in another 10 years or 6 years, might be. We might put another video. You might see that. Or we might like biohacked ourselves into like looking like robots. We don't know what the future holds us. But still, you will recognize us and you will put a video out if that's the case. But that said, it's I like it all boils down, like Prasan said, just stay in a lane that you have who have an understanding. Basically, you read the fundamentals, you understand the fundamentals, you understand the foundation of how it works, right? You keep putting those hours into understanding instead of offloading, right?
Yeah,
Because if you understand now, then you can offload later, right?
100%.
So wow,
Now,
tagline. We're
yeah.
gonna put that
Yeah.
in. That's so fucking
I'm
lame.
just
Okay,
gonna put that on my wall, actually.
get that printed out.
uh,
Um, yeah, I mean, so if you move into getting the full developer experience on this, right? Um, Something that I kind of realize is that the AI awareness is very little right now, right? So why are everyone asking is AI going to replace our jobs is because we are not aware enough of how the AI works and what it does and what it can do and so many things, right? So
yeah,
that said, uh, how do we get ourselves aware about these things? So that's where again the tricky part is where you need to do your research. You need to read. You need to read, learn, and adapt, and basically understand how the world is changing and how AI is changing the world. And at the same time, like how we are doing, we encourage everyone to just make sure that they can put content or even like blog posts, right? Just make people aware of how AI works and how it can be utilized to your day-to-day work. Because we just need to keep doing it more so we can grow faster, evolve fast, right?
yeah,
So we do have many problems in the world right now. I'm not saying AI is going to solve everything, but it can solve certain problem for a certain period of time until we get something new.
yeah,
So why don't we get to that? Why don't we get to that fast, right? Uh, of course, that's a whole different topic. How does a developer or engineer experience this, right? What does the experience exactly look like? for me, it has to be a symbiotic relationship with the AI. Like how Venom and the Venom's
Yeah, they're
host work.
pulling out Marvel references and like fancy words there. But yeah, go ahead.
It's like that. It's like that. It's the
Yeah,
word of the day. I love
yeah,
it. So
symbiotic.
Simba.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's like how the Venom and the Venom's host, like in the movie, they work together, right? So imagine the Venom is going to be your AI tool, and the human's going to be the host. Like that's how you need to have a relationship like that in order to work with this. Because if you just offload it, you don't know what the hell your symbiotic partner is doing, right? So you have no clue. So that's why you need to have that kind of partnership with the AI, and then you don't replace your thought process. You just aid your thought process. And
Yeah.
yeah. I mean that's I think for me that's the developer experience. Right. So what is your idea there? Like how do you think the developer experience is defined? Is programming going to be more specialized or is it going to be more accessible?
I think it's both. It's accessible right now because everyone can easily get into programming with or without AI, and also you can build products like actual products using AI without having zero knowledge, right? But also you need to be specialized because it doesn't mean like imagine you build a SaaS product completely from scratch using like there are a bunch of tools like Bolt, V0, Replit, Lovable. So it does not mean you can actually like deploy to production. And I know we have seen articles where people have actually done that, but I still think you need to be very specialized as well because you if you don't understand what's going on under the hood or how everything behaves, I feel like you're kind of screwed. So it's a 50-50 for me, but it's way more accessible now. And with that, you have to be way more specialized. I think it's
Hmm.
I don't know if I gave you the answer that you were looking for, but that's how I feel.
Yeah, I think that also gave me some ideas. I think that's good. That's quite good. One thing to add is that on yeah, it's going to be more. I mean, it is more accessible right now. It's going to be specialized in the future. That's the case. That I mean, the accessibility that you get, you take it, and then you build specialized products or you specialize it. So it's basically like a funnel. And the relationship that you're supposed to have with the AI is like is a bit like I explained earlier. It's like a 50-50 or even like 80-20,
Yeah,
80 on you. Uh,
yeah,
so, like, of course, like, just to recap, like, don't offload the work. Just
yeah,
always understand, proofread your work, and make sure that you're in the driving seat.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I feel like we kept repeating ourselves, but that's the gist of it, right? Like you need to be in control and you need to keep in the driving seat, and like it's up to
All
you.
right.
So make good decisions, guys.
Not
Don't
like
drink and
us.
drive. Yeah. Not like us, definitely.
To end off the episode, I'm gonna ask you a question, Prasan. Will
Okay.
you hire an intern who knows AI, or will you hire an AI, or will you replace with it an AI?
Okay, that's a good question. So it depends on the requirement, but I would much rather hire a hire an engineer as an intern who's very who knows his who knows his shit basically like the fundamentals. So once you know the fundamentals, it can be C++, C, Java, it doesn't matter because the concept like software engineering concepts are the same, right? So it's gonna like if you know Java, I know the syntaxes are different, the behavior is a bit different, but the fundamentals are gonna you can transfer that to any other framework as well, right? So I would much rather hire someone like that. And if they are familiar with AI, that's a plus. That's a huge plus.
Yeah.
So I would consider someone like that. At the moment, I wouldn't like I wouldn't go in on 100% into AI because, like I said, I'm very skeptical. But yeah, if Terminator movie happens in real life, I'm the first one to get killed off. But yeah, but still. I would much rather hire an actual engineer who knows fundamentals. So yeah,
And that person who knows AI, right? Because
yeah,
I think I need to flesh out the question a bit more. Where in terms like in entry level job, a junior level SC or intern or someone who does not use AI versus a person who knows AI, you would say that you would get someone who has at least know a lick of AI, right? That's where
yeah,
you're going.
definitely, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely,
So
definitely.
so that's the case, right? That's the future. So I also agree with you. And yeah, of course, right now, okay, can we give a bit more information on why you wouldn't get AI to now? There's a thing called small dev, right? And there's a thing called GPT engineers to all these new tools that are coming out. Why would you not get one of those products?
Okay. So main thing is it's freaking expensive. Okay, so you're gonna break your bank just trying to figure out how to do a proper prompt because I'm not a prompting expert. So it's very hard to. So when you're communicating with a human being, like you don't have to be like 100% specific, right? Like you just give them like certain context and they will understand it, right? But with AI it's not like AI. You have to treat it like a child. Yeah, you have to give all the context, so you have to like fine tune all your prompts. So it's very hard to do. If you don't know what you're doing, you're going to spend way too much money on fine tuning the prompt itself. So yeah, that's a negative thing for me. And also, like i i, I just don't like it at the
I feel
moment.
disgusted right now
I feel
talking about
disgusted.
it.
Yuck.
What
Yeah.
is this? I want stop. Cut the
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah, cut the episode. I'm not doing this shit.
The zero.
And also everyone can see there's a bubble going on. Like everyone's saying, okay, AI is gonna replace engineers. Even the Anthropic CEO has said like 90% of code is written by AI. But I still think it's I don't think it's gonna be that just that, because software engineering jobs are not going anywhere. So don't be scared, guys. Just don't be scared. That's all I have to say. I kept repeating that shit throughout the entire video.
I mean,
Don't
of
be
course, I
scared.
would say
Yeah.
otherwise, but not completely. I would, of course, offload my work. I have at the moment offloaded some of my work on a A100 server, just to. I don't know, is it A100? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
talking about
there's
the
a thing
NVIDIA
called
GPU, right?
yeah, there's a thing called run pods I use. It's like a platform that it's like a serverless thing where you can just pin the server and use the GPU and run your AI models whenever you want. But of course, there's like 100 and other problems that I kind of face when I do that. Um, but that is given. That is a part of the process for me, at least, given that this is my line of work. And I agree with Prasan just because the fact that I do encounter all these issues that he's talking about, and I do encounter um, disgusting bugs.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you're trying to stay on the topic, and yeah, there are good and bads. It's just you got to put a little more extra effort in order if you want to use it. But then again, it's going to take your time, and yeah, so we'll have to probably wait until a good product comes out. But still, like Prasan said, you have to be the driver. So drive this shit.
Yeah.
Don't wear the seatbelt. Don't open the windows on the highway.
No,
Take
no,
your.
where are the fucking seatbelt, please, guys?
Oh, sorry. Fuck. Sorry.
We need to
Wear
put
the
a disclaimer, like
seatbelts.
a huge disclaimer when we start the video.
Yeah, my God. What if someone clips this? Okay.
Yeah.
So you get the gist. You get the idea. Will we still need traditional programmers in the future?
Yeah, I think it goes in line with what we said throughout the entire video, right? We need traditional programmers. But
Yes.
by traditional programmers, which kind of programs do you mean? Like coding in Vim and not using
The Java,
any edit.
the Java devs.
Yeah, I'm not gonna comment.
Java devs got cooked like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
um,
And also PHP. So we have been saying PHP is gonna die like every year.
Are we
Okay,
are we
PHP
gonna
is
do
done.
this in this video? Are we gonna do this? Are we
No,
gonna
no, no.
start hating on?
Let's yeah, no,
Are
no,
we gonna
no,
start?
no,
Are
no,
we gonna start hating on languages on this video?
no, 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 no. Let's
Anyway,
not. Let's not. Let's not.
just finish your thought process, of course. Just
Yeah.
finish your thought process.
No, 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 no. Let's keep that to the next video. So that's a sneak peek, guys. So yeah,
Oh man, we can be very salty when it comes to some
uh,
languages.
uh,
Probably in one of the future videos. But yeah, guys, that's it. That's all we have for today. And well, we are really bad at outros, so
yeah. It's gonna be
TLDR.
awkward. It's gonna be awkward silence for 2 minutes, and then we are just gonna end the video.
The TLDR is yes. If you are watching this video, and if you didn't watch the entire thing, you will lose your job.
And if you don't follow our Instagram account, you're cooked.
Jokes apart, TLDR. It's not the job that. It's not the job that. Sorry, wait. Yeah, it might be the job that you lose, but you won't lose your skill. So again, don't offload. Use the AI the same way that we use code completion tools and everything. Use the AI same way. Get good at that. Learn fast. Grasp fast. Learn new things. Evolve. Adapt. And enjoy.
Yeah, yeah. That's the main thing, right? Like, you have to enjoy what you're doing. So most people who are hyping up about AI and they're saying like developers are dead, those people, they don't really understand what the hell is going on under the hood. So don't worry, just keep cooking.
Yeah,
Just keep
keep cooking. All right, guys. See you.
All right, see you.